What's your favorite scary movie? Hey, this is Reece from My Geek Culture and Reece's Reviews podcast, coming to you with another special gift. I am at Hoyt's Blacktown. That's right, Hoyt's Blacktown, and going to check out their brand new IMAX screen that just recently opened here at Blacktown, and we're going to check them out. And we're going to check out a horror franchise that is Scream, the latest edition, Scream 7. Now, this has been in my most anticipated top 10 list, so a big fan of this franchise. Cannot wait to go check it out and see what has come. Kevin Williamson is behind the director's chair this time. He's been there since the beginning. Ned Campbell is back, Courtney Cox is back, and we've got a fresh young cast, including the beautiful young actress coming now is McKenna Grace. And I'm listening to the new song she's just done with Ice Nine Kills, which is brilliant as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing that in the end credits song as well. It's an awesome song. Now, I am so looking forward to this movie. I love this franchise. I love this horror genre. And this is my favorite out of all the genre, all of the franchises. I love Scream. I just love how it's perceived, what story it is, how they flip the table on stereotypical horror, which is fantastic. So I'm here to check out the new IMAX screen here to see how it differs from the one in Sydney. If you're new to the channel, I recently saw the IMAX screen over in Cape Town, South Africa, to go check that out. And I want to see all the differences and see how they all compare. Now, there is a new, the cinema at Hoyt's Penrith is going to upgrade it there as well. So let's see what they provide. Just keep some notice on the channel when that new cinema opens up. I'll go check it out and report back. But right now we are here to check out Scream 7. I am so looking forward to this. My anticipation is kind of high. Number 6 didn't leave it on the best of notes, but number 5 was a great addition to the saga in the franchise. So I'm really looking forward to it, to see what this film provides. And it seems to be almost a full packed out cinema. It's almost sold out, which is also fantastic. So let's bring on Ghostface. If you're new to the channel, what's your favorite scary movie? And let's see how do we survive at the end of this series of this movie? We shall see. I'm wearing, in honor of Scream, my Horror Nights shirt. Went to Universal Horror Nights over in Universal Orlando, which is fantastic as well. So I'm really into my horror. So tonight is a day of horror. So let's bring on Ghostface. This is a straight out of the theatre reaction for Scream 7. Yes, I just came out of Hoyt's Blacktown here, watching Scream 7, and I've got some thoughts now. I'm going to give you my thoughts on not just the film, but I want to give you my thoughts on the cinema as well that I've just experienced for the first time. So this is Hoyt's giving us a first giving Blacktown an IMAX theatre. Now, it is pretty much set out like a normal theatre. When their cinema one was different, it's just been changed up to be an IMAX theatre. The screen is only a slightly bit bigger, not too much. It pretty much looks like a standard Extreme or VMAX or big premium screen. There's nothing too big. It's nothing compared to the IMAX screen in Darling Harbour in Sydney. This is the one in Sydney is definitely bigger. But this one is an IMAX laser projection screen. And you can definitely see the crisp of the clear image on the screen. That was definitely worked for it. And the surround sound definitely was a lot more, you can definitely find that the definition of the surround sound was a lot more potent and a lot more noticeable than previously when you had the normal VMAX, because you don't really hear too much of surround sound, even though it's supposed to be. You don't get too much of that when you go to those the common cinemas these days, especially here in Australia. But they definitely had this one, which was a good experience to have. Unfortunately, with the other side of things, the only thing they upgraded in the cinema with upgrading Cinema 1 was literally just the title of IMAX on the sides of the foyer of the cinema itself, the theater, and just showing those kind of things. So the chairs and the recliners, they weren't actually changed. I would have thought, having the title being an IMAX theater there, they would have done a re-renovation of the entire theater and gone in brand new state-of-the-art chairs and being recliners and all that kind of stuff, but they didn't. That part I was really disappointed about. I thought I was going to get an IMAX experience where you actually get a decent top of the range recliners, which you expect from an IMAX theater, but you didn't. I got those recliners in a version of that in Cape Town, South Africa, even better when I was in a screen of IMAX in New York City in Times Square. So unfortunately, being in Australia and probably the lack of money, they weren't able to upgrade all the recliner chairs, which you can tell those all faded out, a lot of the armrests and things like that. So that was a disappointment as well. So, but that was probably the bigger one. It was the seats and things like that. Literally nothing else has changed in the theater. So that was that point. Now to the film, Scream 7. Now, anyone who's listened to our podcast, my recent reviews, this was on my most anticipated list. In my top 10, Scream 7 was there. Scream has been one of my favorite horror franchises since I first was introduced to it when I was a kid. I followed this franchise for years and years and years, and there hasn't been too many that I haven't not enjoyed. I've enjoyed, even though 4 wasn't fantastic, I still enjoyed it the tone that it still received when it comes to the Scream franchise. It was still Wes Craven. Number 3 is still a bit of a downer, as we all know. Number 5 was Return to Form. I really enjoyed 5. I thought 5 was fantastic. Number 6 was still good, but it lacked certain things when it comes to what number 5 reintroduced and what the original trilogy, and including 4, was able to provide. They dosed up the blood in the guts side of things and laxed a bit more on the thriller aspect of it and the horror, and it has turned into a stereotypical horror film, which is more blood and guts and things like that, which is still still mediocre and still enjoyable for certain aspects, but being out of the suburban area that number 6 didn't do too well in that aspect. Now going into 7, I did have high expectations, as previously said. Kevin Williamson, who worked on since the first one with Wes Craven, I think he was a producer or a writer. He's come on board and he's stepped into the role of director. He's bringing us his vision, and he's finally building up his own kind of narrative within the universe of Scream that he's known since its inception. So I had high expectations for him. Neve Campbell is back as Sidney Prescott. She's leading the film as she's born to be. And then you have returning cast members of Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers is coming back. You have 2 returning cast members from 5 and 6, which was one of the standouts from the sequels of 5 and 6, was the niece and nephew of Randy, which was I enjoy those characters, and they give that kind of tie in from the original films as well. And then you have a brand new young cast as well, as they always do when it comes to new films. I have a soft spot at the present moment for McKenna Grace. She's in a lot of films I'm really enjoying. I recently enjoyed her in Regretting You. I've been following her career since she was a kid, when she did Gifted with Chris Evans. She's going to be in the upcoming Hunger Games film. She's just been cast as Daphne in the new Scooby-Doo series. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her. So my expectations were up a bit, and I can say with this film, it has reached a point where it is one of my most disappointed films of the year. I really don't think I liked this film. This film was very poor executed. The tone of it was very misconjointed. It didn't feel like a Scream movie. The mystery of it all was barely there. You didn't really care about the mystery. The reveal of the killers, you don't really care about it. I saw the killers reveal a mile away. I picked them up straight away, which all previous films, some of them I picked, but I didn't pick them up until maybe later in the second act. But this one, as soon as the characters were introduced, I picked it straight away. Picked it straight away, which is very bad when it comes to the writing. So with that point, with that all that said, and then certain characters were underutilized. The way certain things were done, and the script was very misconjointed and very lazy at times. I just didn't really find it was that great of a narrative to kind of warrant coming on board. And I think it was a bit of a shame, a bit of disappointment with what Kevin Williamson was able to provide when it comes to executing the script. But that being said, I always want to provide positives. Those were the negatives I would like to leave with on a positive note. This is what did work for me in the film. There is a lot of creepy and hauntingly awesome shots when they use it for Ghostface. Kevin Williamson you can see that he's learned something from working with Wes Craven all those times. There are certain shots, this is not giving any spoilers, but there are certain shots where Ghostface you can see him being shown kindly in the background when the front camera is very much shown on the main character in front of you, but you can see Ghostface in the background a little bit as a little silhouette. You can see him, and you just slowly see him fade back into darkness. It was an awesome shot. When I saw that the first time, I was taken away from it. I went, that is creepy. That is an inventive shot. I really liked that. That was great. So it has some of those moments scattered throughout the film, which was very well done. The creepy side of these certain ways of Ghostface is very silent, and he goes through certain ways of coming up and appearing. Those were very done. So I thought some of the cinematography and the way they edited it and way they were able to show the peripheral visions of how the audience sees Ghostface was very well done. Performances were great. Neve Campbell is beautiful as always. She does not age. She is aging beautifully like a fine wine. She's so beautiful and great, fantastic. The actress that got to play her daughter played it fantastically. You got Joel McHale coming in as the husband, playing a very different role than we've been used to. We're used to him playing the comedy side of things, like in Community and things like that. Completely different role for him, which I really enjoyed. It showed he's got a different side of him, which is very, really good to see. And then you got the young supporting cast played a very pivotal role as well, which is also a young cast member from Gen V in the Boys universe on Prime Video. He was interesting. He was a nice surprise as well, along with Anna Van Camp from the Pitch Perfect films. That was a nice surprise to see her in there as well. So you had a bunch of a great cast. All the cast was fantastic as always. The kills some of them were very inventive. Some of them were very going, whoa, okay, and they're very done. It was very true what Kevin Williamson said. It's not as bloody as 6, but they definitely do have some of the kills on there. You'd be going, ooh, okay, yep. They definitely thought on that as well. So I thought that was very well executed, some of the kills and some of the horror moments were done, especially when it comes to the jump scares. They definitely found their groove when some of the jump scares that the other maybe 5 and 6 lacked a little bit as well. So I was in the cinema with almost a packed out crowd, and there was a few times where a lot of people in my cinema jumped, especially in my viewing party. There was someone who jumped in the first kind of 1 or 2 jump scares, which was very funny to watch. So that was really cool to see as well. So there are some positives about the film, but overall it was lackluster. It was a disappointment. The script was all over the place. The tone of it did not feel like it belonged in the Scream universe. If you took Ghostface out of it, you wouldn't think it's a Scream film. And so unfortunately, this is going to be in one of my most disappointed films for the year. I was really looking forward to this film. I love this franchise, but unfortunately it failed for me on this one. So I am going to be reviewing this on my Letterboxd, and I think I'm going to give it a 2 stars. And unfortunately, it's a thumbs down for me. I don't know if I'll watch this again. Maybe in some time, I might give it a rewatch to see if I might have a different interpretation for it. But at the present moment, when I went and watched Scream 5, I went back and watched it again because it was that much fun. I felt like I was back in the universe that I loved. But when it comes to number 7, I don't have that same aspirations to go watch it again. So that is my review for Scream 7. If you are a fan of the channel, if you like this review, please look out for our podcast, which is Reece Reviews under My Geek Culture. Please give that a shout, and we'll see you next time. What is your favorite scary movie?